Rugby League just made a really good decision, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I was coming on here ready to record a trials reaction to the Rugby League that we watched over the weekend, but I have to put that to the side because the NRL has just made huge news, which impacts not only what we watch and consume in terms of the pinnacle of state of origin football, but they have made a decision that changes rugby league forever. Welcome to Larry Talks, and today we are going to be ripping into this state of origin rule and what it means for the game and the landscape of rugby league heading into 2026 and beyond. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe to Larry Talks, where we bring you daily compelling rugby league content that you can't find anywhere else because we are the best, let's face it. But I will give you unbiased analysis. I'm going to tell you why your team is good, bad, why players are good and bad. And I'm going to do it in the most entertaining, engaging way possible because that's what rugby league fans deserve. And if you agree with me, great. Leave a like on the video and tell me a bit more in the comments. And if you don't agree with me and you feel like punching me in the face, again, you can tell me why. Please don't hit me. I like to keep the mug in good shape. But without any further ado, let's rip straight into the video. Rugby League Central have just broken a really big story around state of origin rules. And this topic has been debated for the greatest length of time. I can think of when I was a teenager 20 years ago, which is scary to think about, and hearing this conversation come up. Is state of origin only meant to be for Australian players or players who represent Australia? Is state of origin, or should state of origin allow players who play for New Zealand to participate in the state of origin series? This is a conversation that has been going for a really long period of time. And the conversation seems to be debated and then it kind of fizzles away. And I don't think that it was truly a topic of discussion or consideration establishment of the Rugby League Commission. And I'm going to talk about the rules and what it means, where the key changes will be, but crucially, I want to give you my view on whether I think this is good or not for the game. So fundamentally today, we heard a news story. Chairman of the Rugby League Commission, Peter V'landys, has come out with a statement to talk about this sudden rule change and what it might mean. In essence, prior to today, in order to play state of origin, you had to be in New South Wales or Queensland, or you had to reside in New South Wales or Queensland prior to your 13th birthday, or the player's father had played state of origin. They'll need to change that rule to mother soon, given that we've got a women's game, but that's a conversation for another day. So these three gate openers were your way into playing state of origin football. I remember Sonny Bill Williams being a topic of conversation. I remember Sam Burgess being a topic of conversation and people debating whether they should be able to play state of origin. Sonny Bill Williams was a unique example. He came across to the Bulldogs as a 15-year-old. He represented New South Wales at an under 17s and 18s level, but yet he was obviously ineligible for participating in the state of origin proper. And I remember that causing a lot of debate. There was also a conversation about what does it mean for the health and integrity of the international game, particularly back in that time when it was simply Australia and no one else. New Zealand has gradually risen over the last 20 years to be on equal or at least competitive pairing with Australia. And now you're seeing other second-tier nations such as Samoa, Tonga, being some sort of competitor or rival to the Australian side because they are a threat. They are filled with talent. But yet we had this hovering cloud over us around the state of origin rules, because then we started talking about tier 2 nations and tier 1 nations and so forth. That changes the game. So Peter V'landys' statement, he says that rugby league has changed, the international game has grown, our rules need to reflect that. If a player is eligible to play state of origin, it makes no sense to exclude them simply because they've represented New Zealand or England at test level. State of origin is about where you're from and the state you're eligible for, not which country you represent internationally. If you're eligible, you should be able to play for your state. I love this, Peter V'landys. Couldn't have said it better myself. So what all of this means is, if you're Sonny Bill Williams and you reside in New South Wales or Queensland at 13, you will be able to play state of origin. If you're Kalyn Ponga, you really feel stronger connection with your New Zealand heritage, well, guess what, Kalyn? You can play for New Zealand and you can play for Queensland. As long as you fit that criteria of being born, residing in New South Wales or Queensland prior to your 13th birthday, or your mother or father, I'm going to just insert mother there because the rule will come eventually, having had played State of Origin. And I think this is fantastic. In terms of what it means for the rugby league game, brilliant. For too many years, we had dinosaurs. I'm looking at you, you know who you are. You're saying, no, you can only play State of Origin if you represent Australia because I'm a white supremacist and that's my view. That mentality is no more. And thank goodness for that because the game needs to evolve beyond that. There has been nothing better as someone who is a proud Australian with a heritage of a different nation, someone who is a child to a first generation migrant, that this country has been such a blessing for so many of us. But rugby league seems to have been stuck in this old school mentality of, well, if you play for another country and you want to play State of Origin, well, then you don't really care about being Australian. There's this backward mentality that seemed to apply to the game of rugby league. But as we can see with the international game, here's where this rule is such a beautiful thing. The international game is and needs to be the pinnacle of rugby league. As it stands today, State of Origin is the number one product. If you want to promote rugby league in terms of, and if you want revenue, if you want sponsorship, if you want break records in terms of the gate, State of Origin is the pinnacle. There's no doubt about it. It's the best players on the biggest stage. But we want to get to a point where the international game is your pinnacle because that means you're going to attract audiences from all over the globe. Imagine a world where Italy can compete for a Rugby League World Cup. Imagine a world where Lebanon can compete for a Rugby League World Cup. Imagine where you remove the position of players to feel like they need to forfeit an opportunity to represent a country of heritage because they might forfeit the opportunity and the financial compensation, let's not forget, of playing State of Origin football. State of Origin players, as it stands, make around $30,000 per game, if I'm not mistaken. It may have gone up in the last TV rights deal, but my understanding is $30,000 is paid to players who represent New South Wales or Queensland at a State of Origin level. Now, if you're shutting out all these players from choosing their country of heritage or choice, if they had inherently had the ability to choose between two nations, you're weakening inadvertently or apparently other countries. And I think that where this rule is so beautiful is it will reward the game of State of Origin because it allows players to represent their state. And that is a wonderful thing. We have ensured the integrity of the State of Origin competition, and I think that that's critical as well. But what we have done in effectively with these rules is we have guaranteed that the international game can flourish. But let's not pretend that rugby league is a truly global game. There is a French team, there is an Italian team, but they're not very competitive because the game simply doesn't have the profile, the infrastructure, the youth setup, a rugby league to be successful in those countries. So you then rely on Australian-born players with a heritage for Italy, Lebanon, Fiji, wherever it may be, to then choose to represent those countries. And we have seen Lebanon recently being more competitive. We have seen Tonga and Samoa, more specifically, be extremely competitive. And I think that that's a wonderful thing for the product of rugby league. So what does this mean in terms of the State of Origin series this year? Kalen Ponga may change his allegiance to New Zealand. Adan Fanua-Blake, someone who many people consider probably the second best prop in rugby league, may now play for the New South Wales Blues. That would be wonderful to see. Mains players like Hakeem Haas, not Payne Haas, Hakeem Haas, Dr. Haas, can now choose to play for Samoa and also represent New South Wales. This is brilliant. We will no longer stop the next and emerging Sonny Bill Williams level player from playing State of Origin as long as they are here by the age of 13. We will no longer see players having to choose between a country that they are born in or their heritage, representing where their parents are from because of a financial benefit. We will now allow the international game to fulfill its potential. There is still so much more to be done on the international game, but this is not just a victory for State of Origin. This is a victory for rugby league fans, and this is a victory for rugby league. Hell, this is a victory for humanity. Forget everything else. Rugby league is life, and this is wonderful news. What do you think? Do you think, and are you happy with the rule changes? What player or players are you excited to see play for Queensland or New South Wales in the 2026 State of Origin series? If you did enjoy the video, make sure you do hit a like. It means that other people will be able to get their thoughts and view this video as well. And subscribe if you're new. It helps us a lot. And honestly, get your comments in. I'd love to interact with as many people as possible. I think rugby league is at its best when we are talking and discussing a whole array of different people's opinions and views on things, because that brings more ideas to the table. I've been Larry Talks. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time. Get out of here.